Hey, good morning, Rogersville, Nixa, Springfield, and all Planet 417. We've got two special guests for you this week, Chance Potts and a mystery guest.
Ooh.
We'll tell you who that is right after this. And we are back.
We're back.
We're back.
It's happening.
So real quick, Chance, tell them who you are and why you're here. Because Lauren doesn't know.
I have no idea who this guy is.
I don't know that I know why I'm here, but my name is Chance.
Perfect. That's exactly what we were going for.
My name's Chance Potts. Born in Springfield, lived in Nixa for a long, long time, but big fan of 417 land. So, yeah.
It's a great place to be.
Phenomenal studio, by the way. I did
Thank
get
you.
to see that the other day. I'm thankful to be here.
And we'll get into a little more of what you do a little bit later in the show. But first, our other special
We have a
guest.
special guest.
Special, extra special guest. So,
Thank you so much.
yeah, come on in. Yeah. So tell them who you are.
Yes, I'm Caitlin Haynes. I am the director of parks here in the city of Rogersville, and I'm here to talk about a special event we got coming up this Saturday. So
Well,
very
Hey.
excited.
What you got going on?
We're doing our Independence Day celebration. It will be this Saturday, June 29th. It'll start at 2 p.m. We have a lot of new cool things this Saturday. We have a mechanical bull coming. We have two
Wow.
dunk
Oh.
tanks. Yeah.
That's
It's
fun.
going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We have dunk tanks. We're putting the fire department in one and the police in the other.
Very nice.
And all of the
Very
proceeds
nice.
for that will go to each department.
Thankfully,
Wonderful.
they've not asked the judge to participate in any of that.
I tried to get Paul into one dunk tank, but I don't think
No,
he's
I
going
no.
to
can't
go
see Paul-
for it.
I can't see that.
Yeah. But
What about the
we're-
sheriff? Did we ask the sheriff?
No, but I guess I
I'm
could.
sorry, Roy. I'm sorry, Roy.
I think
didn't
that's
mean
a
to
good
throw you
idea.
under the
He'll
bus.
do it.
I know he will. I know he will. But
Yeah. But we're really
he'll be
looking
mad at me
forward
for
to it.
suggesting it.
Well, and a
Absolutely.
lot of things at this event are free, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So we have bounce houses. There's a petting zoo coming. We'll have kind of like a cool down area where kids can go play in the sprinklers. We have bands
Just kids?
coming.
Only the kids?
No, adults can do that too. Anybody can go because it will be hot. So we want everybody to,
darn right about
be
that.
prepared.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of cool bands coming. Rusty Rose will be there. They're headlining. Great performance. But there's a lot of family-friendly activities to do. And so we're just really excited to see the community come out.
Well, let's talk
cool.
about the important thing. What's our food options?
Yes.
Food options.
We have about 9 to 10 food trucks coming.
Nice.
London Calling will be there again, which is really funny. It was the first food truck I ever asked to come out, and then I was like, London Calling. And then I didn't say it.
That's
But
funny.
Neil's awesome.
Welcome, Limey, to our Independence Day celebration.
I was like, because I've known Neil for so long, and then I was like,
Everybody's buying tea and chucking it back in his truck.
he's a wonderful guy, and he has great food.
He's a good dude.
He's awesome. But we have Alpine Ice going to be there. Several different food trucks listed on our Facebook. So there's a ton of different options. Market in the Park will be there
That's good.
with
That's
different vendors. And I believe she'll be filling up the pavilion and maybe like vendors like coming out too. So
Nice.
Very cool.
it'll
Very
be
cool.
awesome.
That's
We're really
exciting.
excited for it.
Well, before we let you go, though, the other big news.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about that. The splash pad.
Oh, the splash pad.
Splash
I was
She's like, what are you talking about?
I was like, oh my god, so much good.
Love those
and I
deer in
can
the
do the next one.
deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh no.
I was like, oh no, which one? No, but the splash pad will be open in July. We're very excited. We're shooting
Wonderful.
for the ribbon cutting ceremony on the 15th.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to that. It's a long time coming.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
But we are so excited, and it'll be great for the community to have something like that.
yes, it
Yeah.
will.
And yeah.
Big.
We won't have to drive to Nick's.
Yeah.
There you go. Nixon's pool just opened again, though, so
Oh,
that's awesome for
right.
them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exciting. So when do festivities kick off on Saturday at the park?
2 p.m.
2
That's
p.m.,
when
okay.
everything will start. And then fireworks should start around 9 p.m. Just
Okay.
like when it's dark enough.
Plenty of
you know.
time to eat.
That's very good.
Plenty
Well,
of
and if
time
you
to
know,
eat.
there's not a ton of parking, so
Yes. Mm-hmm.
plan accordingly. The park parking might be full, so you might need
Right.
to park somewhere and walk. So give yourself a little extra time, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Excellent
we don't
advice,
have
Lauren
a
Brooks.
lot of
I've
room.
done things before. At the park.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
But yeah, other than the parking, I wish we had more of it, but it'd be a nice walk over there, and it's all good.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, Caitlin, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thank you
Glad to
for
have
having me.
Congratulations. on the
Anytime,
flash
by
pad.
the
It's
way.
awesome.
Anytime.
Oh.
You got just
Hop on by.
Sounds good.
yeah. You're actually the email you sent. I'm like, I never checked that. I'm like, oh, we got an email.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, no, it's very serendipitous. So we found it. I maybe get you my cell number at some point. So
Okay,
or
cool.
find me on Facebook. That's a
Sure,
good way to.
I can do that. All
Thanks,
right.
Caitlin.
Well, thank you. It was
Thanks
good
for
to
coming
see you
by. Yeah,
all.
good to see you. She's gonna walk right in front of the camera because that's
Just
the
to
only way to
walk
get
by.
out of here, and that's perfectly okay.
And good morning, Beth, to our most loyal viewer
Yes,
of all.
Beth, thank you for being here as always. So
Okay, so we have a special guest today, Chance. I'm just meeting for the first time ever right here. And welcome to the Morning Waffle. We talk about all things and no things. It's a very exciting thing. So,
to a few of us,
okay, so you said you live in Nixa, right?
Correct.
And what do you do? Like, what's your job?
A few things, maybe
Okay.
one too many.
Sounds familiar.
nobody knows anybody
Yeah.
like that.
No, yeah.
Nope, unfamiliar.
Yeah, been an entrepreneur since 1997, so mostly in the insurance and retirement planning space.
Okay.
Built a few other small businesses from that. A number of years ago, got in the travel industry, which was a lot of fun. That was affected here, not too many years ago.
Don't say.
Happened a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
You
don't
I don't
say.
know.
And then on the side, I've been blessed to coach football, youth football for many years. I think it was about
cool.
22, 23 years. And then I was fortunate to be asked to coach on the Nixa varsity team. So I've been coaching there as well. And
Very
I've
cool.
coached something my entire life, I think, to some degree. But yeah.
Well, but let's talk a little bit about your. I don't want to call it a side project, but yeah, you're burying the lead.
I forgot the
for me.
main. I forgot the main thing that I'm talking about more than anything these days. So
So we want to hear the whole bio, but let's yeah.
Right. So yeah, gosh, the culmination of things with just mindset and going through the season we went through a few years ago. I've been involved in personal growth and development my entire life just because I've needed it, and that really culminated into the last 3 years. Coach Perry and I doing mental performance coaching with the athletes and working with their parents, and then we piloted it with some HR people and a few hundred other people. So we're doing this thing called mental fitness training. So
Okay,
think
cool.
of physical fit or mental fitness, but similar to what we do physically. We need to work out, obviously each week, and we need to do that same thing mentally. So
Yeah.
we now have a business called One More Benefit. And we've just launched that website, and really we've been doing this, performing, helping people think better for a number of years, but just launched it as a business, and super excited about where this is going.
Very cool.
And that's at onemorebenefit.com, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Very cool. I think there's not enough.
Hi, Mom. Mom's watching.
I think there's not enough discussion about that, right? I mean, I think there's not. Just in general, like how to be well all the way, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And probably prior to COVID, there wasn't much discussion, and we're not mental health professionals, but there was definitely not a lot of discussion around the mental health side where people
Absolutely.
are experiencing maybe greater challenges. But where we're tackling is more preventive. It's how can we build a healthy, fit mind to handle the challenges that are going to happen in life, because we're all going to have them. And
Very cool.
Well, and that's really smart. I think hopefully as a people we're learning things, and we started in the '80s. We had kind of the fitness craze, maybe before that, but that's about how far my memory goes. But had the aerobics, and everybody was like, be fit and work out. And
the bodybuilders.
The physically fit stuff was really big in the '80s and '90s, and continues to today. But our mental fitness is lagging, our awareness of that.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I think that's, there's stigmas associated with all of that kind of stuff. It's like, well, you shouldn't need help, or you don't need help. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, anybody,
Right.
you can always be mentally stronger.
Absolutely.
Despite where you come from. And so I think it's really cool what you're doing.
So, give me an example. What's a I don't know if you'd use exercises or whatever you do to help prepare people mentally. What are some of the things you could expect from something like that?
Yeah, well, a great example for me was, if we go back to 2011, I had hired a coach, and I'd gone for a number of years without having an executive coach. And, you talk about it not being commonplace, but a lot of the most successful people in the world are hiring coaches to help them think better, to get to the next level, to be sustainable at that level and do well. Well, back in 2010, I was nonstop taking in news 24/7.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Watching, listening, and so to whatever, just all information that came from someone else, and emails, waking up and starting my day with email and the news, and that was my day throughout the entire day. And this is when in our industry, a big change was coming about. Obamacare was launching, and everybody was a little stressed about what that was going to do to business and for people and health insurance and healthcare. But one exercise is just, what do we put in our minds first thing in the day? We'll say, when you squeeze an orange, what comes out?
Yeah.
I don't know. When you squeeze a waffle, what comes out?
Juice.
Hopefully
but not
butter,
waffles.
Hopefully butter and
syrup.
syrup.
Yeah,
Syrup,
no doubt.
yeah.
But when you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice, right? When we get squeezed, what comes out?
I like that.
Well,
Interesting. Yeah.
what are we putting in? Because really,
Yes.
it's and especially what are we putting in first thing in the day? So one of the exercises we can do is be intentional, even if it's just 1 minute or 14 minutes. 14 minutes and 24 seconds is 1% of a day. But if we just started with a minute or 1% of a day, and we said, you know what, I'm going to put better stuff in my mind to start the day. The compound benefit of that over time can have a huge impact. A day, 7 days, we may not notice much difference. But if we do this for 30 days, 75 days, ongoing, it can make a huge difference in our life.
That's profound.
I'm a client. I signed up. I'm part of his
Well, I
program.
don't blame you.
It was a huge investment. I mean, major financial investment to get involved. $10 a month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yep.
I'd go take a second job.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll
Is
be
he
okay. I'll be okay. I'll
He's
be
okay.
I'm hopeful the program will make up the difference. Let me cover that $10 with the benefit.
Well, and that's really neat that you're starting a very affordable way to participate in that. And I've never thought about what 1% of a day was. I mean, that's interesting. And I think now, especially as a society, there's more coming at us than ever before. And that just continues to increase. And none of us were trained really how to deal with this, right?
Right.
Because when we all were born and started life, we weren't starting a life filled with the internet and cell phones and all this stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We aged into it. And
Yeah.
so here we are, and it is tough. It's really tough.
Well, I want to circle back real quick just to the point that I made before about how people think that this is, you have to have a problem to want to be involved in something like, it's the stigma with all that
That's
stuff.
a good point.
yeah.
I remember, I've been married almost 30 years at this point, and but so we're talking, the late 1900s is when the story
Back
comes
in the
from.
day.
I'm right there with you, apparently.
And-
because we're 30 years this year.
And we were at church, not the church we're at now, but a different church. And Shelby and I, we were like, hey, we're going to go to this marriage conference this weekend. Anybody want to go? And people were like, are you guys okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're great. We just, we're pretty confident we don't know everything.
Really?
And yeah.
Yeah.
But are you okay? Like, yeah, we're great. It's the same type of thing. Why are you signing up for a mental health coach? Because I want to get better. It's not that there's anything wrong. I mean, but we don't know everything, and we can always learn from people.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, well, most of the industry, mental performance is what it's called, or executive coaching.
Yeah.
People pay $5,000 to $15,000 to $50,000 for coaches. I was listening to Ed Milet, who coaches Michael Chandler, who was going to be fighting Conor McGregor until Conor said he was injured and pulled out. That's a big UFC fight coming up. But one of Michael Chandler's coaches to fight in one of the biggest UFC fights ever was a mental performance coach. Well, at that level, people are paying $5,000 to $15,000 to $50,000 to get this coaching. But with the technology we have today, where we can provide things like what you all are providing here, and we can provide mental fitness at the same content, the same quality of information, but help anybody who wants to get to the next level, not
That's
just those who
wonderful,
can afford.
Because there's a lot of things that everybody doesn't have access to.
Right.
And, we definitely live in a kind of pay-to-play society. And honestly, like when you started talking about what you do, I immediately thought about like celebrities, because you think, we were watching a show about golf professionals the other day, and one of the golfers had hired, she wasn't a golf coach, she was a mental coach.
Right.
And it was very interesting to me, and I can't remember which golfer it was, but that had pretty well saved his season or whatever. Like he was having a really rough go, and she was just kind of there talking to him. And I remember thinking at that time, I bet she's not cheap. Like that was the thought that came into my head. And so what you're telling me is you're offering something that is a very reasonable way to do this.
No doubt about it. Yeah, we're taking the information that is truly from the best in the industry, because it's all available.
Absolutely.
We're in the information age.
Yeah.
It's all out there. Now, we do invest, Coach Perry and I do invest in a lot of this information to bring it to people, but a lot of it's available to anyone. And so we don't just want to bring the coaching to people, say in a 1 hour Zoom that they might sit in with us, and we do that a couple of times a month for the $10 a month, but we also want to provide them with resources where after they get a little bit of this, if they want to go deeper, they can go deeper. And so much of this is free, but it's like you can't see the trees for the forest. There's so much information out there. How do people know what to go and select and say, I'm going to use this to improve my mindset?
And what's quality as well. That's
Right.
the other thing. In the age of information, there's a lot of bad information out there.
Well, if you want to do things nobody else can do, you have to be willing to do things that nobody else will do. And
Yeah.
that's
Right.
kind of one of these things. So it's you're dovetailing right in with my weekend because I spent the weekend in St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah, with my my publisher put on an event down there.
Sounds very fancy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was my publisher.
I was thinking reflective time, but it sounds like it was work time.
It was a little bit of both. My wife went with me, and so they said, "Hey, bring her." Came in, so she sat through the first seminar. I'm like, I'm out.
Bye. I saw her posting it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a lot of posts from her wandering around St. Augustine, having a great time, by the way. And so
That's my wife's idea of personal growth too, is being out there. Yeah.
well, she did a lot of great things. She worked on some of her stuff down there too, because she's a writer, and she does a lot of internet writing and
Right.
Bible study stuff. But the Rob Cosberg, our guy, the guy that heads this publishing group, he spoke a lot. But then we had Cale Owens in, who is one of the top internet marketers there, and then we had Michael Levine.
Wow.
Okay, you know who that is.
That sounds familiar to me, too.
Yeah. Michael Levine is a PR guy, and he represented Michael Jackson, Joan Rivers, several presidents,
Gotcha.
George Carlin.
Dang.
He's kind of the guy. And he's talking. He says, I want you all to know how much I got paid to come here. Nothing. He came for free because of his connection with Rob, and
That's
he
cool.
was great. I got my picture with him, so he was really good. But it's just kind of that. And talking to Rob and these guys that are coming and kind of coaching us, you talk to them, they'll tell you who they're getting coached by.
Right.
They've got coaches too. So
No doubt. And Coach Perry and I need coaches, and we've talked about how, as high school football coaches, who's coaching them? And he'll say that. And so they're in this position to lead these teenagers that are in some of the most transformative, years in their life.
Absolutely.
But then who's coaching the coach to be a great coach? And Coach Perry is one of those coaches that will do that. But very few of us seek that out unless we get the influence where we hear about somebody else hiring somebody and they've helped them grow, and then it, maybe something they do as
if
well.
you're constantly pouring into somebody else, you've got to have somebody pouring into you.
Well, we need it as much or more than anyone. So I think that's one of the things that helps us connect with people is we're in this journey with them. We're not talking at them and saying, "Hey, here's what you need to do," and look how great we are. No, we're struggling in this life just like everyone else all the time, with daily minor adversities to some very, very significant challenges that come along the way. Yeah.
Sure.
This is all very interesting. See, I love surprise guests. I just never know.
A little more serious tone than probably what you're used to on the Morning
goes back
Waffle.
and forth.
You would be surprised. You just never know.
Say something about taxes and see what happens.
And you mentioned that you've worked in the travel industry. Do you still do that, or was that
Yeah, a little bit. So there's a subscription-based travel club that's out there. It's not tied to anything else. Like it's not tied to the websites like Expedia,
Yeah.
Priceline. It's not tied to timeshare. It's really more of a Costco, Sam's Club type product.
Yeah.
And so it was just really interesting to see where a couple of different companies have worked on launching that and been successful.
Yeah.
It's huge industry.
Oh, I was gonna.
Yeah.
I literally, the first thing I put in my brain this morning was an article about, and this kind of blew my mind. TSA scanned the most. It was 3 million passengers. I can't remember which day it was this week, and broke the record.
Wow.
Of scanned passengers, and they expect to break the record again this weekend. And I guess 4th of July is the peak of summer travel, or kicks off the most summer travel, which I honestly didn't know that. I knew it was busy, but I didn't know. But I thought that was very interesting because, we hear a lot, oh, this is a tough economy, but the travel industry is going nuts, apparently.
It absolutely is, and there's a number of things that are causing that, but it is interesting about, when we think about what people think of inflation and the costs, they're saying what a typical family of four needs to earn like $11,000 more than what they had in 2021 to live at the same level.
Yeah.
So how are people affording to go travel?
Yeah.
But they're doing it, and so there's no doubt people are wanting to live and experience and maybe in some cases escape. They may need that as much as making memories and living the great
that
things.
was really interesting to me because I remember back, like in the, let's say the 2008 crash time frame, people just cut travel out. I mean, as much as they could. Anybody that could cut it out. And that seems to not be what's happening right now. And
right.
I'm not saying we're going to have an economic crash. I'm just saying that there's all kinds of different predictions happening about where the economy is going. We all know it's more expensive to live, but people seem to be doubling down on travel, which
On
was
life
in the
experience.
past was the first thing that they'd cut out.
Yeah.
So
Peter-
that's interesting.
Peter, did you get that video I just airdropped you?
Oh, we got an airdrop situation.
Oh, no.
Peter's like, no.
He declined it.
Our producer,
I see that. No, thank you.
producer's like, no, sir, we're not doing that.
Okay, I'm going to try to send it again. There it is.
That's funny.
there
So
it
I thought that's really interesting, and because people's habits change over time, and we may be seeing some very new habits in the future of society. I think people's kind of have reorganized their priorities a little bit, maybe.
We may, and when we did get shut down, and I think all of us may remember, as you drive down the road, you see the boat or the RV sales locations, and
Yes.
they're gone. I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
buying all of them because you can't go do things outside or inside.
Yeah.
So hey, let's go with our family and go to the lake or go camping or go RV or go
Yeah.
go do something. And they couldn't keep boats and RVs on the lots back then. So
All right, speaking of travel,
Okay,
Peter, roll the video.
what do we got?
what is he
What's
doing?
he sharpening?
Yeah? Okay. Well, what would you do?
What is that?
Yeah.
I have no idea what he was even doing.
Well, it turns out he was sharpening a pencil because he wanted to write in a book. But I'm like, this dude's making a shiv.
Yeah, something nefarious is happening.
So, I'm like, well, if you see something, you got to say something.
Well,
you know?
yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I find a TSA guy, and he's like, huh. Well, that's kind of odd. And he's like, well, come over here too. And so he takes
Yeah.
me to like the police stand where the police are there, and there's this police dude sitting
Yeah.
there, and I show him that. He's like, yeah. So I'm like,
Just saying, it's kind of weird.
concern you at all? It's like,
Yeah.
well, he was completely uninterested. Just did not care. And I'm like,
weird.
okay, so if you're going to make announcements that say, if you see anything unusual, please report it.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
And I'm
that's
reporting it,
unusual.
and you're treating me like an idiot for doing exactly what you asked me to do. We're going to have a problem. So luckily, I did not get detained, nor
Well, that's
I
good.
did not miss my flight. But I'm just like, why do you not care about that? He's like, well, go tell the airline. If they think it's a problem, they'll call us. I'm like,
Wow.
dude.
And this is the problems of the world,
Yeah.
right? This is kind of
It's like, why? I'm like, dude, why are you even here?
Yeah.
Like, just go home.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. No, because that is unnerving. I mean, his general behavior, that's not good.
He didn't start his day with a gratitude journal.
I don't think he did. He seemed, I don't know. But, if your job is sitting in a little glass booth at an airport for 8 hours, you might be a little cranky too.
Well, so, coming from I started my adult work career in retail management, and as we pulled into Macadoodles the other day on Independence, and this like plume of smoke goes up, and Jesse, this is my husband, Jesse looks over and he's like, "Is the furniture store on fire?" So he goes in, and here pops out the Macadoodles, employee, because I could tell her green shirt. She's on the phone, and I'm laughing because in 10 years of retail management, the most exciting, which there was always exciting things of our day, right? It always. And
sure.
so there was just levels of crazy that we dealt with. The most exciting thing was when you got to call 911. Because it's this weird mixture of, I get to call 911, we have a disaster going on, what's going to happen next? And it's totally like, watching the car wreck situation. And I'm like, that Macadoodles lady, I'm going to call her Deborah. I don't know what her name was, but she was like, she's pumped. She's so pumped. She's getting to call 911. And the furniture store wasn't on fire. I don't know what burned, but it wasn't the store. It was weird. But yeah, it was just a funny thing. But no, in retail, it's like we had to respond. We had to do things. It's pretty ridiculous that the guy you talked to was like, oh.
Well, apparently, like a Jacksonville police officer assigned to the airport is who that appeared to be. Now, the other interesting thing was, but prior to that, as we were going through security, they're like, code blue. And they start yelling at us. Everybody stop. Nobody move. Nobody move. I'm like,
It's like,
did you figure out what code blue was?
Like, all clear. I'm like, well, okay, but it was a little bit of excitement. Now, as I try to, as I go through security, like empty all my pockets into my carry-on so that when I go through security, I'm not dumping on that
I do
bin.
the same.
Yeah.
And I forgot something, and when I went through the metal scanner, the big, where you raise your arms up, he's like, "Sir, do you have anything in your back right pocket?" I'm like, "Dang it, I do."
The badge.
I had my badge.
Oh, no.
My back pocket. He's like,
Yep.
That's so funny. Oh,
Wow,
you haven't heard the
I didn't know he was official.
He's officially something.
when I made the crack about it, I'm glad they didn't ask the judge.
Yeah.
I'm the judge.
The judge.
I'm the judge
Nice.
for the
It's cool
city
the
here.
judges get badges. You don't see it. Could you ever flip that out?
Well,
on the...
they don't all.
Oh.
They don't all.
Oh.
In fact, I have one of the better badges of any of the judges in the state.
Well, that's cool.
Because my condition upon accepting employment as a judge was I want a badge. So there's a little bit of story behind that, because when I accepted my first judicial appointment, it was in 2003, and it was for the city of Fair Grove. And in 2003, you could not get a concealed carry permit in the state of Missouri.
Okay.
Unless you were a law enforcement officer, probation and parole, or a judge, and maybe a couple other things, you were not allowed to carry a firearm,
Interesting.
period. I mean, you could open carry. And so I said, I'll be your judge, but I want a badge so that I can carry, and then I've got
Which
the badge.
honestly, judges should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I can prove that I'm really a judge. And so that was the
Very
condition of
interesting.
employment, was that I got a badge.
So you just have a perma badge? Like, they're just like, that's your badge?
Well, this one's actually for Rogersville.
Okay.
So I got a new one when I took
That's
over
cool.
Rogersville.
This is probably a stupid question, but I wasn't smart enough to go to law school.
We only like stupid questions on the show, by the way.
Can you be a judge if you're not an attorney previously?
Actually, yes. It's
Okay.
very rare. You have to be elected by your municipality, and then you have to go to judge school. There's like a 6-week judge school you have to go to.
That's terrifying
But,
that's even allowed.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any non-lawyer judges left. There
Okay.
were a few. Battlefield, city of Battlefield had a non-lawyer judge for a while.
Gotta go to judge.
I appeared in front of him, had cases out there. He did a great job. He'd been doing it
Wow.
for years and years and years. And so sometimes it's more about some wisdom and life experience than it is about, I got a law degree and I got appointed to the bench.
Judges have been around a long time. There's not been access to necessarily everybody going to law school.
Right.
Maybe he was a mental performance coach.
He might have been a mental
Yeah.
performance coach. Yeah, he might
He's
have
like,
Did you get the other picture I sent you, Peter? So here's the other fun thing that happened in St. Augustine. Throw that up
I
there.
know where this is going.
Yep. So I always like to tell people that I'm a hillbilly.
Oh my!
I got down to St. Augustine,
And
and
your shoes
a
fell out.
cap fell out, and
That's classic.
they're like, "You're not kidding, are you?" So
Yeah.
I should send the other picture in because got right back into town. Dr. Sam, 2 doors down, pop that sucker right back in. I'm good to go.
That's exciting.
But yeah, that was fun. So.
Anytime
impressive.
you can get a dental fix done quick,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Well, you know, I mean, I texted him and I'm like, hey, check this out. And I mean, immediately, this is like Friday night. He texts me back with a picture of like the dental cement from
Yeah.
Walmart. Like,
here, use
get
this.
some of this.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go to Walmart, but I'm thinking.
Why not?
I'm thinking, and I go to I get on the Walgreens website.
Yeah.
And I'm like, search that, click same day delivery,
Oh, that's fancy.
and I did that, and
Do they mail it?
nope, DoorDash will go pick it up and bring it to you. And so I put in the hotel address with my room number, and they DoorDashed it. And when she was getting close, I went down to the lobby, and she handed it to me, and I stuck my tooth back in, and it lasted overnight. And then the next day, about breakfast, it's out again, and I went the whole rest of the weekend with one tooth gone.
Hillbilly tooth. I like it.
Did you ever know the person that was supposedly either went to Missouri State or from Springfield that invented the Bubba teeth or the hillbilly teeth?
No,
Oh, that's right. I forgot
I think it was
about
somebody that either went to school here or they were from here.
think
And
you would
That's the
expect
thing.
that.
I think they did pretty well financially.
Yeah, I
that's
think
what
so
I'd heard.
too. Those things
Yes.
are everywhere.
Quite the novelty.
Yep, that was a good deal.
Oh my goodness.
So thanks, Sam at Clear Creek Dental for popping that back in, and of course the host of our monthly Bluegrass Jam
Yes.
is Dr. Sam from Clear
It's
Creek.
another
Dental.
random thing that happens in the studio.
Nice. I like music.
It's pretty
There's
good
all
too.
kinds of stuff.
It's good stuff.
Okay, so you currently live in Nixa.
We do.
Nixa grown a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, and I think Rogersville is kind of experiencing some growing pains right now. There's
Yep.
a lot of subdivisions coming in, a lot of comments about those things on social media. How long have you lived in Nixa?
Since 1997.
Okay, so you've been there through the big change.
A lot of it, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, back when I was in high school, they were very different sizes from Glendale to Nixa.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been there since it really at the beginning of it becoming big.
Yeah.
Probably a 5A program, and now we're a 6A and have been for a number of years. So in the largest size
Well,
of
I
school
remember
district.
when we were all 3A. When I was in high school,
Yeah.
we were all 3A. Rogersville, we played Nixa, we played Ozark, Marshfield, Bolivar, Buffalo, Republic. I mean, that was and Branson. That was our
Yeah.
run.
And Republic will probably move 6A pretty soon. They're 5A. That town is
Republic
booming
is
like
incredible.
crazy.
It's wild.
And
Every time I
Rogersville's
go to
growing.
Republic, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mind blowing. It really is.
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Well, and it is interesting because a lot of times, like, we have different local Facebook pages, and it's like people are, people who are against growth are like, I don't want to be an Ozark or Nixa. And it's like, we're Rogersville, we're small. And I'm like, I don't know if anybody can, buy that 10 minutes from Springfield if you're ever going to stay small forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting what's happened in Nixa, Ozark, and Republic now.
Well, growth happens.
It does.
It's just, are you going to grow well or poorly? That's
Yeah.
really the only decision you're going to make, unless you want to, move out to the hinterlands near Fordland and buy 120 acres and build walls, like some of us do.
Like some people,
Like some
who
people.
will remain nameless. But it's pretty incredible, and the growth I think in general that's coming to this area. Are you seeing that in the school system? Because you said you're coaching. You're still coaching Nixa, is that right?
Still coaching.
Yeah.
I don't teach there, but I do coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've just more people moving in. Maybe not as much as what probably Republic has or maybe what Rogersville has. And maybe the next wave would potentially go Willard. I'm not sure, but I love the one town, one school system. Sounds like you went to Rogersville. Did you grow up here as well?
I'm from the booming town of Houston, Missouri.
Okay. But, in Springfield, it is different. I loved being in Springfield and going to Glendale. My wife went to Kickapoo, but having a city where you have multiple high schools, you don't have that feel of the whole community, businesses and,
I totally agree.
all different ages are supporting you, and they show up on Friday nights. And it's just different when you have the entire community supporting you. And I do think as you go out to the 3A, 4A programs, there's something special about that size, even though I've not ever been a part of one.
Yeah.
Because Nixa had grown, but it's pretty cool to be in a one town, one school system.
Yeah,
setting.
Is neat. That is neat.
Yep. No, that's cool. That's good.
Well, we got exciting things happening in Rogersville. We've got, we've got the fireworks thing coming up. We've got the splash pad opening. There's definitely houses being built. We're growing. I think people are going to keep hearing more about that. I think this whole area is growing.
Get some snappy new restaurants.
Snappy new restaurants, fun places to eat. And it's, there's just a lot of exciting things happening, I think, in the Ozarks, period.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
And I mean, people like yourself are bringing in kind of new ideas and concepts and different things to way to support the community. And it's really the mental coaching. That's probably something that we all don't realize that we need.
Yeah, we don't. I don't. I think I knew because I came from such a level of dysfunction with my dad. I was constantly living a life of going, okay, I don't want to duplicate that. And I've found out that's a blessing now. But I was always angry about it because, I loved him. I'm glad he loved me. But it was just so frustrating to deal with dysfunction for so many years.
Yeah.
And when I came out of college, and I did go to SMS, as it was called back in the day, I got to see Zig Ziglar here in town live and Jim Rohn and start to learn that personal growth space and where people thought different. And I had my mom's still living. I have a phenomenal mom that, raised me and my sister and my younger brother. But just that having that divided family and a dad who was so dysfunctional in so many ways, when I started finding there was better thinking and the impact of that better thinking on a daily basis, what it could do for you in every area of life, like I said earlier, it's like I need this as much or more than anyone. Yeah. I'm on the journey with people, but I just so desperately want to help people think better. And not everybody's in that boat. Most everybody's busy being busy, and not everybody really stops and thinks, hey, what do I need to do to make my life better?
I feel like I accidentally packed my bag of cliches this morning, but I think so because I keep throwing them out there. But you don't know what you don't know until you don't know that you don't know it.
Yeah.
And I think that we all kind of grow up thinking we know everything to some extent. Yeah.
Oh, I look back on 19-year-old Lauren, and it's like, woo.
And the more you learn, the more you know what you don't know, and the sooner we can kind of break out of that I really do have a lot to learn from a lot of other people, even people I don't think I have anything to learn from.
Right.
The faster you get, smarter. And the smarter you get, the more you know you need more of it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like you. I like to collect coaches. You can look at my bookshelves and stuff. It's just full of stuff. Theology and and other stuff, the coaching type stuff.
I was listening to David Novak, who actually went to the University of Missouri, and he's a retired CEO of Yum Brands, which is one of the largest companies in the world. And he took that company from $4 billion to $32 billion, right?
Just an 8-bagger, that's all?
Yeah, just a little bit. And so Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, huge company. And this guy just wrote a book about how leaders learn. And so just to kind of in alignment with what you were just saying, but the top people are constantly curious. They're constantly learning. They don't think they're right. Isn't that crazy that it's like, I would think David's more right than me most of the time, but yet he's more curious than me.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting that some of the most successful people in the world are more curious than right, but we find ourselves stuck where we are in life and we feel right. Yeah. We're just like, hey, I know why I am where I am, and I think, and I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
A coach I had a year ago, I love the guy, Darren Walker, and he said, if I say this right, what are you thinking about when you're not thinking about what you're thinking about?
Yeah.
And kind of, and it causes you to think, and you wonder.
Now I'm thinking, so I can't think about what I'm thinking about when I'm not thinking about it. I started thinking about it. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, this is coming, my opinion, is we're kind of lacking good leadership on a lot of fronts in general right now. And that's not a dig at any particular one person or, I know we're not a heavy political season, but I think leadership, accountability, all of that stuff has changed. I think the people who go into leadership maybe used to do it for the right reasons, and now I think we have a lot of people doing it maybe not for the right reasons. And I think that, we've got a lot of, we've got a legal system that has a hard time holding people accountable. We've got a morality issue with holding people accountable. And it's causing daily struggles.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of people with good intentions that don't have the right tools or the desire to get in the spots anymore.
And are so viciously attacked.
Oh, my gosh.
When you just try to do anything.
Well,
you're right on. We have a self-accountability problem.
Oh, there you go.
In every way,
right.
And so it's so much easier to put the focus elsewhere instead of look at the three fingers that are pointing back at us.
Yes.
And go, hey, how can I get better when it's easy to be caught up in the criticism that's going on, because we can criticize anything and everything.
Oh yeah.
But then we're not going anywhere. We're just kind of running in circles.
There's a Bible verse about something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
The speck in the plank.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. That's good. Hey, well, I just want to encourage again everybody to check out what you got going on. Maybe sign up for $10.
I appreciate that.
Give it a try. I'm enjoying it since I met you kind of last week, kind of.
Yep.
And maybe we may have a show with
that'd be cool.
Coach Potts down there.
We're discussing that.
We're discussing
I like
so
it.
that may be out there on Planet 417 where you can tune in and get some of his stuff.
Well, and I think any way you can add, I call it local media, people who are from the area, doing things in the area, and it being broadcast to the area is a good thing.
And beyond.
And beyond.
We broadcast to the world.
Because
as we've said before, we have no reason to believe that Donald Trump is not watching
He
today.
could definitely be watching
Absolutely
today.
could be watching today. No
It
reason
is
to believe
possible.
that he's not. Taylor Swift, Lauren's idol could be watching today.
Interesting. Then I'm like, who is my idol? Oh my gosh, that's funny.
No reason to believe that they're not watching this
That
very
they're
minute.
not
We
watching
have no
right
reason
now.
to believe that they're not.
They're scrolling. They're scrolling.
Yeah,
They could
probably
come
have
across this.
Swipe past it at some point.
I had
That's
an
right.
epiphany over the weekend, and it was a scary one. I think a lot of people are getting their general information from TikTok.
Oh, for sure.
Could be. I don't have TikTok.
I think there's
I don't
a,
either.
I think there's
I
a
don't either.
generation. There's a swath of people. Let me put it like that.
And I think it's bigger than you think.
I do
No
too.
doubt.
Because they're, and I'm not even going to discuss this because it's completely vulgar and awful, but there's a thing that went totally viral last week, and I'm like,
We all know.
we know, yeah.
Everybody
I
knows.
don't know.
You-
I'm
okay, you
not
don't
up on
wanna know.
not up on current events.
It's literally not worth talking about specifically, but it's like it kind of finally woke me up to the point that people are really getting their information from a very distant, non-reality. I don't know the best way to say it. Place.
Well, what
And
I
it's
thought was
kinda crazy.
interesting thing about that, despite that I didn't find out about it on TikTok, I found about it probably on Facebook because
Yeah.
I'm 53 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's
Different
my
age.
that's my platform is Facebook at 53. But that went viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
We used to go viral on Facebook, then we went viral on Twitter or vice versa. I don't know, or Instagram. But now.
Yeah.
That viral stuff comes from TikTok. And if you look, a lot of the videos and the reels and stuff that you see on Twitter and Facebook, if you look, they're shared. They've got the little TikTok logo on them. They started on
they
TikTok.
started on TikTok.
Yeah, it is so easy. I mean, even for those of us that may not be, I'll say as addicted, because I think we are all to some degree can find
What'd you
ourselves
say?
addicted.
I was looking at my Facebook.
Yeah, I
I missed
Yeah.
that.
Addicted to our technology, our phone, maybe certain apps. But I find myself, even though I'm not someone who wants to go and just start my day or spend my day scrolling, but if I get on there and I do start,
Yeah.
they're good at what they do. I mean, it
Yeah.
draws me in easy to try to capture my attention, and
100%.
and sometimes I wonder if where it'd be easy for me to be critical. My wife and I've raised 4 boys, and they've done some gaming, right? And
Yeah.
thankfully not excessively all the time. There were seasons, and we would be on them, right, about how much they would be doing and trying
Really?
to
You have children
limit
game
to
a lot?
limit that.
Wouldn't know
Yeah.
what it's like.
But
Listening.
No, he's on his phone. He's not listening.
when I think about all of us out here, I think sometimes, man, we might be getting played. Like, instead of as adults, and anyone, we're out here using technology and scrolling and on it. And I imagine that we're in the game, but we're being played. We don't know that we're being played. It's like we're not playing a game. We're being played.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
we are capable of controlling that. I don't think it's all bad. I think there can be good. I think we can put great content out there and be intentional, just like what you all are doing. I mean, every little thing you can do to put something fun, something positive, something that is local, that, hey, this is making a difference. This is a great event locally that, you spotlighted. Anytime we can do those things, that we need more than 10% of that in the news, right? The
Yes.
news is 90% negative on purpose because that's
Yes.
what sells. But if we can start to think different and be an influencer, but be an influence for positive and for, things that are going to help people, and we can do that. So,
Yeah.
but we can get sucked into that vacuum too. I've done it. So I'm not judging people. I'm just doing.
If they would, they're doing so. They just released a new iOS update, and they got some interesting little features on there that they're coming up with, like the ability to create a hidden folder for your apps that you can hide. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
good.
It seems like that's just rife for shenanigans or the intentionality of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Why don't they fix it so like these apps I'm only allowed to use between certain times? Like I can lock.
Yeah.
I'm going to put these in the folder, and these are my limited access
That's it.
apps.
Yeah.
So that would be a handy feature, I would.
Probably not going to happen though.
Yeah.
Probably not
No,
gonna
I
happen.
Definitely want
It's-
you
it's,
consuming as much of that as possible.
For sure, 100%. Well,
All right. Well, we better land the plane.
we should. I want to say onemorebenefit.com one more time.
Thank
Go
you.
there, check out what Chance is doing. It's good stuff. You should totally sign up for that.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah,
Very
thank
nice
you.
to meet
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. I appreciate you promoting that. We do have a weekly email that's free, so if people want to just put their information in there, we send out what we call weekly mental reps, and so just gives you kind of a chance to take 1% of your day and make it be towards improving your mindset. So they don't have to do the $10 a month, but if they want to join and become a member, there's no contract. They can quit whenever they want, but we think the value will be much better than that.
Yep, there you
Very
go.
cool.
All right. I don't
Good
remember
stuff.
who's coming next week. Do we know who's coming? Do you
I don't know.
remember? I don't know.
I don't have two guests next week.
Really?
I think it's Laura and Emma.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
I will not be here next week.
Oh, that's
Weird.
right. That's
that doesn't
right.
happen very
Vacation?
Yeah.
often. Yeah, that's
Nice.
the plan.
All right.
I'm excited.
Cool.
This is really Lauren's show.
Yeah.
The rest of us just kind of hang around. Yeah, that's right. My architect and my gardener, I guess.
You are both delightful humans,
They really
so I'm
are.
pretty excited about
Yeah.
this.
So we'll talk about my home remodel next week.
Awesome.
Oh, my. Thanks for
We need
watching,
to do that.
everybody. We'll be back next week.
Bye.